In this assignment, we will be integrating history into physical education unit of baseball. We will be analyzing the history of baseball and how it has evolved today, specifically how women impacted the sport as we know it. Your assignment will be to critically examine the history aspect of women in baseball after viewing this online lesson. We're going to take a different look at baseball. Starting from 1866, women had played baseball at Vassar College, which fielded the first two women's baseball teams, setting the pace for 7 sister schools to establish teams. However, disapproving mothers complained about the propriety, leading to the disbarring of the teams. It wasn't just upper-class women who could afford to go to college who played baseball. There was another type of female playing. Most females came exclusively from working-class or rural backgrounds. Many of them had grown up playing baseball with brothers or cousins, and they're immune to the stigma of being branded masculine or freakish. Baseball's bloomer girls were professional baseball clubs for women, known as bloomer teams because of the baggy Turkish-style trousers originally worn by male players. Having already broken society's ideas of a woman's place being in the home by working in shops and factories or on farms before the war, these women had no inhibitions about going into this choice of profession. Although the bloomer teams were racially segregated, they were integrated by gender, each team normally having 1 or 3 male players. Among them were several future major leaguers such as Hall of Famer infielder Roger Hornsby. The teams rarely played each other. Instead, they competed against men's hometowns, semi-pro colleges, and minor league teams such as USA, Canada, and Japan. Many of the teams did very well against all-male competition, showing a level of athletic skill not known before. Some of women's baseball heroes were Elizabeth Arlington, known as Lizzie, who became the first woman to sign his professional baseball contract, signed as a pitcher for the Philadelphia Reserves. Lizzie Arlington was signed to Atlantic League's Reading Coal Heavers on July 5, 1898. She pitched the 9th inning in a 5-0 game against Allentown. In 1907, Alta Weiss was hailed as a girl wonder because she became the star pitcher for the Vermilion Independents, a men's semi-pro team, at the age of 17. Sports writers called her a phenomenon, pitching against some of the best semi-professionals in Cleveland. Bernie Beatrice Jackie Mitchell, who became second woman ever signed to a minor league contract. At the age of 17, she was pitching for a AA class minor league baseball team in an exhibition game against the New York Yankees in 1931. It was at this game that she struck out the famous Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. Unfortunately, shortly after the spectacular performance, baseball commissioner Kenshaw Mountain Landis avoided her contract and prohibited women from playing baseball, saying that baseball was too strenuous for women. As a result of Landis' decision, women began to play softball or go as far as they could on men's teams before they were excluded. Coming out of the Depression, World War II came at a critical time and caused a labor shortage in 1942. Working men left to serve just when the factories needed them for war production. Many of the workers who replaced them were women. The war opened doors and brought new jobs that were never before offered to women. 4 million women entered the labor market, which included the sports industry. During the war, women became the backbone of the labor force in America. Since Major League Baseball players were drafted or volunteered for military service, now women were looked to and encouraged to fill the void left in America's favorite pastime, baseball. Philip K. Wrigley, owner of the Chicago Cubs and chewing gum factory, believed that women could help more by playing baseball. Wrigley believed that baseball's survival depended on women during the war. By 1942, Wrigley was forming his professional women's league, the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League. The league started with 4 teams: the Rockford Peaches, the South Bend Blue Sox, the Kenosha Comets, and the Racine Bells, each team playing a 108-game schedule. Even though they were a softball league at first, over the years the league gradually became a baseball league. After the war ended in 1948, women were expected to go back to their place in the home. Viewership dwindled and eventually the Women's Baseball League ended. The AAGBL lasted from 1943 to 1954. This newfound independence brought major changes in the social definition of women's roles. After 1954, women's chances in baseball diamond weren't recognized until the passage of Title IX in 1972. Since the league's closure, there have been several attempts to equalize men and women in sports. In 1972, Congress passed Title IX, prohibiting discrimination against the federally funded education, including athletic programs. Little League opened up for girls, and a few found their way into junior high and high school baseball teams. At the start of the 21st century, women's baseball in the United States has grown to include international play and a true World Series.